This episode is brought to you by High Point Market. Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life you love. Join us as we explore the keys to living the life you want without compromise.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Design Dash podcast. I'm Laura Umansky, your co-host, here with Melissa Grove. And we've been talking because we're fresh off a High Point Market, and it's May. So we're almost halfway through this year. And around this time of the year is when we really start thinking like, okay, what does December look like? What are we celebrating on December 31st of this year that we have to start planning for like right now? And yes, we've been planning for this all year. Like we set our goals in January, but now May, I feel like, is when we really light a fire under ourselves, because if we want these things to happen by December, what has to happen right now for that to be possible? And that's our question for you today. What do you want December to look like for you? And what has to happen right now in May for that to be possible for you? And so Melissa and I have been really talking about this. And I think I'm going to sound like a total dork right now, but like in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's talk about our friend May, who is now a person, not just a month. So I think about this in terms of like another interior designer firm owner. She's running a 2-person firm. She's doing around probably $300,000, $400,000 a year, which is excellent. Her work is really, really good, and it's getting reposted. She's getting referrals. She's occasionally getting some local features. She is still the designer in her firm. She has one team member, probably a design assistant. She's the designer in her firm. She is the project manager in her firm, the bookkeeper, the marketer, the social media person, and the person answering client questions and emails at 9 p.m. May knows she's underpriced. She knows her process is being held together with scotch tape and sticky notes. And she also really feels it in her gut that next year has to look different. She needs a change, but she isn't sure what different is supposed to look like. And so Melissa and I have been talking about this. Like, so with my fictional design firm owner, May, what can she really do today that will set her up for next year by this December? What can she accomplish? I mean, really, that's 7 months, right? But like, let's say she's just kind of starting to think about it in May, and she's going to kick this off in June, like July heavy. What can she expect to achieve by December? And I want to line that up with Grow Studio. So within Design Dash, within our community, we have a 6-month program called Grow Studio. And that is to help firm owners grow from where they are now, whether you are like May with 2-person firm, 300, 400 grand a year, or you are like some of our other members that have maybe 10 employees and a multi-7-figure firm. We span the whole like gamut. What do you do now? What are you going to get out of Grow Studio? What are you getting out of our 5 pillars that we're teaching in Grow Studio that will make a huge impact by December? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Melissa and I are going to go back and forth with our 5 pillars. If you just chose one thing from each of these 5 pillars, we'll tell you what they are. What would you choose? What should May choose? You may be different. What would May choose? So we can start with people. So people is one of our pillars. What would May do between now and December?
Well, I mean, we need to take a look at, I'm a fact finder, so I have to understand like what are the facts behind her business? What is she trying to achieve in 2027 that she feels like she's not prepared for now? It sounds like she has 2 people in her firm.
Well, it's her and one other person, yes.
Is she, if she doesn't have a back of office, that would be maybe one of the first things that I'm thinking of, is somebody else to handle invoicing, to chase after invoices when they're not being paid. Or maybe it could be somebody who's handling procurement. It really just depends on what her goals are. Maybe she's thinking, okay, I don't want to do any of that invoicing anymore. I'm spending way too much time doing that. I want in 2027 to focus all my time on design and building up this business. Okay, then for me, it's easy. You need back of house. You need somebody to handle all of those things that you don't want to do. So you're able to then design and develop business.
Completely on the same page. I would say that is probably May's next hire, assuming that she has like a junior designer, assistant designer already on her team. That's the two people. I would say absolutely her next hire is admin, bookkeeper that is handling her billing, handling that back of house, because that is such a big time suck for design firm owners. And I also love that it separates asking for money from your clients
Right.
from your relationship with them as much as humanly possible. So you have a
It's
bookkeeper
huge,
invoicing.
actually.
Yep. And he or she keeping you on time with your invoicing, griping at you to get your time billing in. And they're communicating with your clients in a way that works for your firm. So yeah, I agree. And so our people module, let's say we're starting there, is going to help May figure out who to hire, when to hire, how much to pay, how to onboard this person. Like there's a lot that goes into even just one hire.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
agreed. That is exactly what she's doing. Um, and she's also building that org chart. She's building an organizational chart that's going to show how her firm is going to be set up now and in the future.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that growth studio can do is just give you the confidence to know that you can hire. I know that in the
Hmm.
community, if there's so much uncertainty around, well, can I afford it? And do I want to be responsible now for somebody else's livelihood when my pipeline looks a little slim? And especially when it comes to the roles that aren't billable, I think there's a lot of very real, very fair um, worries around that. But I think that the trade off is just so worth it to not have to worry about that. And you brought up a really great point to not have to hound your clients for invoicing. And hound
Right.
is maybe not the right word, but I think it's so
No, I
important
mean,
to
some
separate
clients are like, get
your
the invoice, pay immediately. Some need
Yes.
more information. And so,
Yes.
yes, it just, whichever type of client or blend of client you have, like, that's fine. They handle it.
Other times I feel like a professional nag trying to get invoices in. And you as a business owner do not need to take that on. And especially as you scale and get more and more clients, there's a bigger possibility for you to be that professional nag, and you definitely don't wanna do that.
Right. And it also just isn't the best use of your time as the firm owner and as the creative, like as a designer within your firm.
Mhm.
Asking for money, building invoices, emailing, keeping up with them, looking at QuickBooks or whatever you're using is not the best use of your time. You
Right,
can get your time back by having a bookkeeper admin, and you're applying that to biz dev, creative work, billable work for yourself. So I think that's huge. So let's say that's the one thing. Of course, if you already are a firm with a bookkeeper, you're doing something else entirely. Like you've got that covered. So then we would determine, okay, what is your next hire? Who is it? What are they doing? What do they look like to best build your firm and get you into the focus, like things that you need to focus on as the firm owner?
right.
Okay, so moving on from people, like let's say that's module one, pillar one is people. We know what we're doing there. Pillar two, profit. So profit can mean a lot of things. But what is the one thing that May, our two-person firm, soon to be three, what should she be doing for profit?
I think she needs to take a look at her financials if she isn't already. And scary to me, but a lot of firm owners, especially if they're just a solopreneur, just one other person, they don't look at it very often. Or at all, which I think would give me so much anxiety. But I think it's very easy to, if she's hiring a bookkeeper or an accountant, that person can pull these reports for her. And then she can start to take a look at her profit and loss. She can start to see what is her break even point. I think every business owner needs to understand that. How much are you spending in expenses? Whatever that number is, you need to at least cover that with revenue or it's just a hobby. like, or you're just treading water.
Right.
Then I think that what's really fantastic about the interior design business is that there are so many different ways to make a lot of money doing it, that it's okay if you take your first look at your finances and you think, "Whoa, well, this isn't as good as I thought." I think you have to start at that kind of baseline. So have somebody pull a profit and loss for you. Take a look at your expenses. Take a look at how much revenue you're averaging per month. Take a look at hopefully the profit that you're bringing in per month, and I think that's a great way to set some goals around then what you want to achieve in 2027. I don't think that you're able to set a financial goal without knowing how you're currently doing financially.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I think we're going to diverge a little here. Definitely, you need to have that framework, that foundation. For
Mhm.
me, if I was talking to May and I'm like, okay, May, one thing that's going to help your profit is evaluating how you're billing for your services and billing for your furniture sales.
Mhm.
So after they get that foundation, of course you need that. And that goal setting, I love goal setting. So let's say we're like, okay, 2020, by the end of this year, even, we could get a 20-30% kick in our design service fees just by changing the way we bill.
Yeah.
And we've seen that so many times with different designers in the Design Dash Grow Studio. They change how they bill. We go to hourly billing. We show them exactly how to set that up. And they're like, oh my gosh, I was leaving so much money on the table.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did this. Is it easy to make a switch if you're doing like fixed sum billing or flat fee? No, I mean, it's not. It takes a little bit of time, but once you do it, there are so many benefits. So the first thing I would tell May is you're going to hourly billing. You're setting up a professional fee schedule for you and your design assistant or junior designer, your other person. And then even the admin you're hiring, if he or she are doing procurement for you, you can bill for her time, his time too. So you could feasibly be billing for all 3 of your time hourly and, like, really kicking up your design fees monthly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would be a big change for me. So, yes, I think in our profit module, we're gonna learn how to do all of those things, right? So you're gonna learn the foundational things, and then we're gonna talk about how to actually begin billing for the time that you're actually spending.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen designers in our community switch from fixed fee to hourly and make a lot more money than they were making before. I mean, there have been ways that we've even changed our own billing and
Yeah.
are making more profit now. So, and then I think another thing too is that we constantly revisit billing as well, just to make sure that are we still profitable? Does this still
Yes.
make sense for us and for our market?
Yeah, but even if you made the switch, let's say you make the switch in July, August, you could feasibly be kicking off 20-30% more than you are right now by the end of the year.
Hmm.
So, like, that would be huge.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so profit is we're getting our foundational view of what we're actually doing, expenses, revenue, profit and loss, all of those things. Changing our billing. Maybe you're not doing everything. Don't freak out. We can take it one step at a time. But let's say then we're looking at promotion. So that's our third pillar. And that is everything to do with putting your brand out there, putting yourself out there.
Yep.
So, what's the first thing May is doing, or someone else in our community? Maybe it doesn't have to be this fictional May. What's she doing for promotion?
I mean, I do this every middle of the year. I'm about to do it right now is assess how the first half of this year has done. Where are most of my clients coming from? Where are my best clients coming from? Where are clients coming from that I maybe had to say no because their scope was too small or they just weren't the right client? All of that influences the marketing, right? All of that tells me what's working. Are people finding me where I want them to find me? Am I getting clients from Instagram where I'm putting in a lot of effort? Or am I getting clients from just my website and from Google because I just hired a new SEO agency and they're handling this for me? You want to make sure what you've invested in is working. And from then you can curate and cull. I mean, we've tried tons of things in the past and then I've realized, okay, well, that isn't working, but this thing is. So let me divert the latter half of the year, that investment there. I think
Okay.
another thing is too is photography. Photography is so important. I mean, it's the most important marketing asset that you have. So I try to figure out what can I photograph now until the end of the year? How much should I budget for that? What's the story that I want to tell around that project? Do I want to pitch it? Am I just going to put it onto social media? And if I do, how do I want to promote it? Um, all of those are, I mean, it's a lot of discussion, but that to me is the fun part. Like we get to tell the story of our business.
I like that this mid-year pause is like, okay, we're looking back and we're building this foundation of what has worked already.
Mhm.
And it's not just for one pillar, it's for all of them really.
Yeah.
So like what has worked? What do I need to do next? Yeah, I mean, you're the promotion guru, the marketing guru, so I would defer to you. Um, I mean, marketing can be so overwhelming for creative firm owners, and it's like, we're creatives. We should marketing's creative. Like we should be able to do this, no problem. But it really is such a specialized skill set
Yeah.
to take your work output and then turn it into a message. Like I think that's
And
not
there's
as
a structure
easy as
to
it
it and
sounds.
a formula sometimes, like, the creative part for a lot of marketing is very small.
Hmm.
There's just this vast amount of execution that needs to be done in order for that great creative idea to actually work, and so I think that the middle of the year is a perfect time to determine, "Okay, what are all these campaigns that I've done in the past? What worked? What didn't? Let's repeat that the latter half of the year and then maybe also try some other things as well because you don't want to get too
Yeah,
rigid or
high
repetitive.
load. Yeah. Okay, so let's say our friend May is sitting here and she's like, I'm looking back at what I've done the last 5 months, whatever, since January of this year. I've really focused on Instagram as we do as designers,
Yeah, I think you
because
have
it's
to for sure.
easier, right? It's an easier channel. So I've been focused on Instagram. I'm ready to, it's been going okay. It's fine. Um, but I'm ready to get out of it myself. Like maybe I'm ready to
Mhm.
get somebody to help me with social media. Like, do you feel like May would be ready for that?
Yeah, I would do it. I mean, I know really successful designers who their first hire was their marketing person.
Okay.
And I think that's really smart if that works for you. Especially I mean it depends on really again, it always depends on what you want to do. What do you want to do with it? Like if she's looking to bring in new clients and to close new clients immediately, I might work with a conversion specialist, somebody who can make sure that her customer journey online is working really, really well. And then she's got to pound that pavement because I think that this is a very personal kind of industry that relies a lot on high touch networking.
Personal
And
touch.
I think
Yes.
that's something that she really likes because I think that that's something that you have to do. And summer is actually a pretty good time to do it because so many of our clients are on vacation. Things just kind of naturally slow, especially here in Houston because it's so damn hot. Nobody wants to do anything else. And I think a lot of, I know a lot of our vendors or builders and architects, everybody else in the industry does lots of little small things just for us. And they're a great time to get like personal face to face time with people who can refer
Okay.
your business.
So May is evaluated. She's like, Instagram's doing okay. I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to stay consistent. And I'm going to plan like this personal touch outreach strategy for business development for my ideal client.
Yeah.
Great. Plan it. You could even plan it over the summer and then do some like back to school push when your clients are all back in the fall.
Yeah, we've definitely done that. And then of course the holidays come in and that's a great time to reach out to clients and to reach out to partners too.
Totally. Okay. Love it. So May has her people down. She's got her profit down. She's got her promotion down. So next is process. And like May is ambitious. Like she's like, I want to do at least one thing in every single pillar. So in the process pillar, we talk a lot about onboarding of your clients. What's the way to welcome them to your firm? So let's assume you've already gotten them from promotion. How are you welcoming them and keeping your branding on point and showing them from day one how you're working? So, onboarding is a big thing. So, maybe May is looking at her onboarding process, or she could be looking at her design process from start to finish. So, that's something that we
Yeah.
really dig deep into throughout the entire Growth Studio is what happens from client is signed, project kickoff all the way through project is complete.
Yeah.
And we've done all of our troubleshooting and we're sending in a gift at the end to say, thank you so much for working with us. So what do you think May is doing in process? What's the one thing? What's most important?
Man, this one's tricky for me because I don't think that designers at that level, if it's just her and one other person, need to document anything just yet.
Yeah,
I
that's
I
okay. If they
I
don't document it, sure.
I don't think that they because I know that a lot of designers in our community are just like once they get to process, like, okay, I need to get Word docs out. I need to have presentations. I need to have full handbook and da 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 da. Da. I don't think that you have time for that at this stage. And I think that's where Growth
Agreed.
Studio really comes in handy is because all of that's then built for you. To rely on the design process that you've built, Laura, that we've been working on, for the 20 years that we've had our firm and just iterate,
And
iterate,
we have a
iterate.
map to hand to May. Here's our process. This is how we do it.
Because I just don't think, I mean, did you have time to write down processes when it was just you and one
No, no,
assistant?
no, no. So my processes at Laura U Design Collective were developed over years by our entire team, not just me, by our leadership team, by our senior designers, our junior designers, by procurement, by accounting. All of these different groups, departments, and people developed our processes and documented them over the years. It was not just me getting out of my brain and putting it on paper. I mean, some of it is for sure,
Yeah.
but the vast majority has been a group team effort. And so I think that's what's really great about, I mean, all of the different pillars, but especially process, because we can just tell you, like, this is how it works for us.
Yeah.
And it's also structured on industry standard. So we structure our process to align with how an architecture firm works and how a builder expects to see documentation. So that way, when a client is involved, they're like, oh, okay, interior designer is structuring this the same
Yeah.
similarly as
Very
the
seamless.
architect, as the builder. We're all on the same page. And so that's what we can hand to May and just say, hey, okay, here's your consistent process. And you may not do everything perfectly every time. That is not the point. We don't do it the same way. I mean, we're following that arc. Um, but every project is so custom and so different that it may deviate some, and that's okay.
Yeah.
What we have is a guide to take us through from start to finish.
Yeah. And I think that's
Yeah.
what I would look at if I were May is just, okay, how is another business? Because I think one thing about Growth Studio is it's not created in a vacuum. Like Laura and I use the exact same tactics and strategies that work at Laura U Design Collective in order to build this. So I think especially like if it's just you and one other person and you're just starting, don't put this added pressure on yourself to have all of these things documented when they're right there
Yep.
for you, and
Take our
maybe make
map.
mistakes so you don't have to.
Yeah. Take our map and use it. And then you can develop your own things like attached to that along the way, like those little things that are special for your firm. But once you have the process and the rules, then you can decide like what to break and what to change for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Aligned there. And then so lastly, our last pillar, so we have 5. So people, profit, promotion, process, and now we're at purpose. So purpose is our 5th pillar. And this is kind of, I love this one because it's very visionary and it's like dreaming big. Um, but it's also, it can be tactical too. So what would you take from our purpose pillar for May?
I
If you
think the
could have
purpose
one thing.
I think you have to follow it step by step. One of the things that we have
You'd have to do all of it. So
you
for
have to do
you, you're like,
all of
okay, purpose,
it.
you're doing the entire pillar. It's
I
all,
think
you would have to include
so,
everything.
because it really, pulls together all of the other pillars, and then it gets you to start thinking about, okay, now I can make this real. And the thing that we've done with the purpose pillar is we have this firm framework for you to use that documents your core values, your mission, your why, your differentiators, your goals for the next 3 years. I think you and I both feel like it's so important to write these things down. Then you can
We're
hold yourself,
manifesting.
yeah, you can hold yourself accountable
Yes.
to them, and, it's gonna seem really repetitive because like, "Well, I already know why I'm in this," but it's like, "Do you? Do you really?" Like, if you
Yeah.
haven't done
Could
the
you
exercise,
say
you
it
have
right now exactly?
and I mean, we can because we talk about it 5 times a year with the team and with each other, but I think that when we first started out, before we started, putting our thoughts together in this framework, we couldn't. And that
Mm-mm.
led to inconsistency. And now, of course, we're a big team. There's 15, 16 of us. And when you have 15, 16 different ideas on who you
Oh
are
my
as a
god.
firm, that's a problem.
Yes, it is. I
So it's
agree.
really just about getting consistent. And so I mean, I don't want to say like what I have to do every single week. I mean, you should. But I think at least taking a look at that framework and asking yourself these kinds of questions. Why does my firm exist? I'm really big on understanding that why. Yes, it's going to help you, build your marketing strategies and determine how you want to talk to clients, but that's also going to be the thing that you rely on when you get burnt out or when you feel
Mhm.
overwhelmed and you're thinking to yourself, okay, why am I doing this? You have to
Yeah,
remember,
really.
okay, this is why I'm doing this. And I really love it. I really do. Like I made a lot of sacrifices in order to have this business. Okay, now I've got to connect to my why, which I know is so lofty and magical, but it does help.
No, I agree. I think it does help, and also, as you're growing your team, you have your why already, and so you can tell them, like, "Hey, my firm exists because we love home." Like, at Laru Design Collective, our purpose is that we love home so much, and that means a lot of things. That's our simple answer, and then you can expand on that. Like, I love home because I love waking up and sitting in my living room and looking at my view and drinking my coffee and just, like, it's warm and cozy and like those that and I want my clients to have that too because it's
Yeah.
so special. And so for us, that's our purpose. Like if my day sucks or my week sucks, I'm like, oh yeah, I do this because I love home so much. But it's beyond just the purpose. Like you're also thinking, I mean, I hate to say competitively, but kind of like you're looking at yourself, your firm. What are your differentiators?
Yeah.
What are your core values? So, like, you're really breaking this down in your purpose module so that you can define those things about your firm, like what makes you different,
Mm.
because you are different than, I don't know, April down the street.
Yeah.
I'm giving them names of months, whatever. I'm going with the theme. May is different from April next door. She just is. Like her clients are not April's clients. Why? And so it helps to
Right.
know why. And so I think purpose is, you're right. Like there may not be one thing you break out from that pillar because it really takes everything.
Yeah.
So we also get into your 3-year vision. Where do you want to be in 3 years? And here we're dreaming big within reason because we're not like, we want to be a $20 million firm in 3 years. Maybe you can do that. Maybe May is just like a business genius.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be. But we're dreaming big within reason. And so we're setting those goals together. And then taking it back to, okay, 3 years looks like this. What do I need to do in 1 year?
Right.
And then what do I do in the next 90 days to get myself one step further? And so that's what we would build with May or with you. Um, yeah, I think purpose is such a fun pillar.
It is. It's fun to think about what you get.
So once we get, so we've done our 5 pillars, which you can do within 5 months. Like that's the goal. So 6 month, we like to look at Growth Studio as a 6 month trajectory because we think it is aggressive and you're learning a lot and you're implementing a lot of things, but it's doable. So in month 6, there's not a sixth pillar. It's our integration month. And so we're looking back on our 5 pillars and everything we've built over the 5 months, and we're pulling that all together into our 7-figure business plan. And so May is planning like I'm $300,000 right now and I'm 2 people, but I want to be in 2 years, I want to be $1 million. I want to have a team of 4 and it's going to look like this. This is how I'm getting there. This is what my profit looks like. And so we're building all of that in integration month.
Yeah.
And then May's walking away with her plan for her 7-figure design firm that she can implement in her own timeline. But if she wants to do it quick, great. If she
Yep.
wants to spread it out over 2 years, cool. But she has a plan and it is concrete and written down.
Yep. And I think that's
So,
what's so great about that particular integration month and the way that we do it is that it's very specific. It'll be very specific to May's business. Like I'm just not a big believer in these one size fits all sort of things. Like if you do this,
no,
you're going to be successful. No, that there are no guarantees in life, and there's
no.
definitely no guarantees in business. But I think that what we can do is by going through the first 5 months of those pillars, you get a really clear understanding of your business. And you might think that you're clear now, but gosh, I mean, we weren't, but before we started building these things out, you just can't be because you're working, and so I think that what's really great about integration is that we're talking to every designer as an individual. Like, what are your goals by the end of the year? Just like we're talking about now with May. What are the things that you want to achieve? Maybe what are some ways that you want to feel rewarded, by your clients and by your work and by your firm. And that's where all of like that really fun stuff comes together.
Yeah, and I love that you just walk away with a plan, like, it's in your
Yeah.
hands.
Yep.
So whether you're like May and you're $300,000 and by December you're like, "Man, I know I'm going for 300. What if I push it to 400? What would that look like? Can I get there?" And that's just a revenue number, like, that's
Yep.
whatever, like, there's so many things that go along with that. I have someone that's handling my invoicing and my admin now, so that takes me out of those things, so I can be free to be creative, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So she can think about December in that way. But maybe you're already doing 500,000, a million a year. You can look forward and like Melissa said, it's not one size fits all. It's one size fits your business. So what does that
Right.
look like for you? You're already at a million, you're like, man, by December of 2027, a year and a half from now, I'd like to double my revenue and increase. I want to build a whole design team underneath what I've already built. What does that look like to restructure that and reimagine a firm that's maybe double what it is now? How do I do that? And what am
Or
I getting from that?
Well,
Like,
and
not,
that's the other thing too, is that you could be thinking, you know what, like my revenue is working well, my process are working well, but I'm working a 70-hour work week and
oh my
I
gosh,
need to
yes.
reduce it down to 40. That could be your goal
Yeah.
for December. And then that's where we're talking about, okay, well now, if you can afford it, let's hire you some help. Let's start thinking about that so you can take a vacation, spend more time with your family. I mean, you've made all the sacrifices now to build a really successful business, but I know how hard it can be then to pump the brakes a little bit and give yourself the grace to say, "Okay, I can't function like this anymore, but if I leave, then the whole thing's gonna fall apart." No, it won't.
Yeah.
You've put in the work, and so
We need you to
you're
be able to leave and take a vacation and everything keeps going.
exactly, or you're gonna fall apart. So you gotta take
Right.
care of you too.
Yes, and you could do both. You can say, "I wanna double my revenue, and I wanna take a 10-day vacation with no one tracking me down to ask me a question." You can
Right.
do it, and it just depends on working through these 5 pillars and integrating it and getting your
Yep.
plan together, and so we can do that. We're here to do it with you,
Mhm.
so, you're not alone. So we're also a community, and we're talking through this twice a month live every single month, and answering questions and like really digging into even real time problems. Like, man, I hired this person. It doesn't feel like it's working out. Is it
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Like, is it me or is it them or is it my process? Did they miss? Like, what's the issue? And we talk through that and we can salvage that hire or say, you know what, maybe it's time to move on and try something new.
Maybe it is them.
So it's real problems in real time. So it's really, yeah, I love it. It's really fun. So we'd love to have you there. If May's story resonates, yes, she is fictional, but we all know her. Like, come on, we've probably been her if we're not her right now in this industry. So if it resonates with you, reach out. Like, where can they find more about Growth Studio, Melissa?
Yeah, well, I mean, www.design-com. It's all
Easy.
over the homepage. You can watch a workshop right there, right now, talking about billing methods, talking about raising your revenue and your profit because that's the more important number. And so you can get a little bit of a taste of what you're going to see in Growth Studio, and that's just one lesson. That's just 1 week out of the full 6 months that
Yes.
we do this. So I hope
Yep.
you check it out.
All right. We hope to see you there. And thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our next podcast coming live next week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, you can find us and more wonderful stories like these on design-com. And make sure to follow us at Design Dasher on Instagram and TikTok. Till next time.